Yo.
All right, who's our persona? It's a high-flying 30 to 60-year-old business consultant who's traveling internationally weekly from New York, Istanbul, Bahrain, Tokyo. He's lost his PA in the credit crunch. He's pressed for time. He's very busy and impatient, but loves a good service that makes life easier. And he only has time for one favorite activity during his business travels. So
his issues are to do with real life, because what we found is even high-flying people can end up in the wrong venue with the wrong kit and the rest of it. I've certainly ended up in an airport on the wrong day. I've done all sorts of things. That might be just me. The second thing is cultural faux pas. If you are going to Tokyo, for example, the dress code is different in Tokyo than it would be in San Francisco, for sure. So in Tokyo, more formal. You need your business cards. In places like Clerkenwell, you need a grubby beard, obviously, to fit in. Another thing is the weather. If you're trying to travel on business with just a carry-on with no checked luggage, you want to have micro information on the weather for your 3 days in Tokyo, for example. So these people are short in time. We have suggested, as Kathleen was saying, that we want maybe some social interaction. So if you're in a foreign city doing some work, maybe your peers have recommended something you could do that's social in the city. But essentially, it's a stripped-down packing list app that helps people get things right, be in the right place at the right time. And it's called Trip Outfit. And now
music should come on.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, as Kevin said, what we tried to do here was you talked to some people in the beginning. Seems like they were very busy focusing on just getting their presentations right before they were traveling. So they sometimes forgot very basic stuff. So what we've done here is just to try and walk you through a typical use case here for how this could work. Our concept here basically could work. So what will happen is the secretary or the business person, we call him Calvin himself, would book the itinerary. So that would be a flight and a hotel, and you would receive an email. What Calvin would do is that he would forward this itinerary to Trip Outfit, that is our thing, and Trip Outfit will basically pick up the details, location, duration of the trip, season, weather, gender, hotel facilities, and all these kind of things. And we'll basically send him an email back, some sort of promo email telling about all the benefits he will get out of using our app. And that will essentially be to get this specific packaging list and some additional tips for if you go to Japan, as we talked about, you'll be able to know that you need to bring gifts and so on to the people there. So what Calvin would do is he will click there and you'll be taken to the website or the mobile website, essentially. I think Stuart has an example of that.
So yeah, this will work on mobile or desktop, and because we can link directly to this, we can log you in automatically. So essentially, you've only done about 5 clicks to come to this point. This is personalised on location, on your gender, on weather. For Milan, you need an extra coat. And the gifts are culturally, the tips are culturally customised as well. The travel bag is how many clothes you'll need for the time of your trip, and because all the information is extracted from the email, you don't need to enter anything to generate this. The other part of the interface we have is the travel history, where we want to improve the recommendations we say. So if you went somewhere and we didn't suggest what should have been suggested, then hopefully you can fill this in, and then we'll integrate that back in and give it to other people in the future. There's another screen which is the settings customization screen, which I think you're going to go over.
yeah, we've got sort of a number of different kind of customizations and additions that we can apply either in a profile that links you on the main web page, and we can sales links to stores and that kind of thing. Was that not
one thing I didn't touch on
that
was
one?
these can be sponsored. I mean, they're not by definition, but there is the ability to link in with merchants and to do some quite interesting business hookups there.
So the idea was we did this for a business traveler, but it could also be expanded to other kind of travelers, essentially. So we just tried to be very focused on the business traveler.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just curious to see, from your experience today, what about which part of the process you found to be the most difficult or challenging, or for your team?
I would say, like other people have said, if you start to imagine and get creative, you start to pile in a lot of functionality that could be useful to someone sometime, somewhere. And we all know from giving information over to these allegedly helpful sites and apps, we know that you'll trade 2 lines about you to get a lot back. 3 lines might be 1 line of information about you too much. So we did have to good debate.
I thought maybe I went too far the other way, but because in my mind I'm always going to have to build a product, I was trying to kill features and functionality too early when really I could have let it slide a bit more this time because it's not going to go any further. But just instinctively, no, please.
We were basically going to just send an email at one point. That was the stripped down version. Here you go, this list.
How did you decide to focus on business travelers? Was that the result of research, or was it an idea that fed into the research to begin with?
I think we started out that we wanted to talk to some people who did like some sort of adventure travel and business travelers. And what we did was we tried to call some people, some friends and so on, and we just failed to get in touch with any adventure travelers. Yeah. So we ended up focusing on the business segment instead, and thought, okay, we'll just go for this and try to make it very simple, just develop this particular concept.
Mm-hmm. One tweak, the type of business traveller would have to be one who was more not just doing the same trip again and again. They'd have to be getting sent all over the world, because otherwise they'd be very familiar with the place and there wouldn't be any value in the idea. So we discovered that through talking to people. Yeah.
So did you have a question?
Yeah. If we sort of look at the problems and then the main screenshot you had, I was just wondering, what's the correlation between the problems that you discovered and that sort of final screenshot and what was added in? And I was just wondering if there was any kind of interesting things that were added into the screenshot.
The problem is the screenshot didn't manage to convey that we would be doing things like, if you're about to leave for a trip, sucking the weather in and saying you're going to need a raincoat or it's going to be cold. So it didn't get across some of the subtleties that would be going on in the back end.
But was there anything that sort of was added in along the way, along that journey from this point to that point, where, or was it always clearly against the problem?
I think we did think at one stage that if you have an app you use or a website for travel for business, you might be motivated enough to put in things like your passport number, expiry date, visas, driving license number, and so on. But again, we're conscious you don't take stuff from a customer unless you can give them value back. But at some stage, I'd like to throw everything.
It was more a
into
process of subtraction than
yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.